Kumar. So the first session will be on the policy landscape in India. Mr. Kumar has more than 24 years of experience in the energy efficiency, energy management, and renewable energy programs in the private and public sectors. He has immense experience in the municipalities and state governments. He has worked in the policy advocacy. He has supported a lot of implementation programs and also a lot of government aided programs. So his strategic and technical guidance has provided models for implementation of energy efficiency and climate change mitigation projects. So he has also played a key role in developing India's first super ESCO business plan. He is a certified MNV professional by AEE USA and has published papers and articles on energy efficiency and monitoring and verification of carbon financing. So I would like to welcome Mr. Pradeep. Over to you, Mr. Pradeep. I will stop my screen so that he could share his screen. So you can share your screen.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for the introduction. And let me share the screen and let me know if it is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you. And thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to be part of this training program, which is specially designed for the student and academia from the e-mobility as a sector point of view. We know that there has been many program, many awareness activity has been going on even for this sector. But we are really fortunate to have you guys also to be part of this program. So I know you all of them, or most of them of you are like technical guys in their respective field, whether it's mechanical, electrical, chemicals, and this session, which is particularly going to be focused on the policy aspects of the e-mobility or electric mobility. And what I feel is it's very important. The student also need to know and aware about how the country stand in terms of the policy and support for the EV as a sector. So unless there is a strong policy, unless there is a vision of the government who works on the policy for the different sector is going to be made available, and the future of the certain sector, it's not going to be that I would say rosy when it comes from the student or academia point of view. So it's important to know what is the vision of the government think tank on the electric mobility sector, how their vision is aligned with the international development, international commitment, which is required, especially from the point of view of climate change perspective, which is very much related to our kind of project which we are doing it. What is the government thinking and action on the creating robust and credible workforce and the business model? Unless the government show their intent, show their thinking towards developing the ecosystem in terms of the workforce, in terms of ready the business model to mainstream the EV in India, I mean, this is something not going to really success in the coming future. So I will try to touch upon few of these aspects from the government perspective, what kind of policy is in play to make all of you aware of the policy environment related to EV in India. So also I will be touching upon, since most of you are either in the college, in the final year of the college, or just passed out, that what kind of career and employment opportunity the students, the academia can really have it from the EV sector. So that is something which I'm going to mention about in my presentation in the next 20 to 25 minutes. And one thing before I start, I would like to mention that the EV it's emerging like anything. This is the sector which is emerging globally almost all the countries are working on EV policy and EV adoption in either short-term and the medium-term measures. And this evolution is something very similar, which we have seen it almost like 20 years back, to when there was an evolution for the computer science, when a lot of demand was created Y2K basis. Most of you will remember these things. So EV it's emerging like a very big sector across the world. India is also gearing up to meet the demand for this EV sector. So that's where there are a lot of opportunities for any kind of student who are interested in developing their career into the EV sector. So this is the broad structure on which I will be making a session. Um, um, just to give you, a few of you might not know what the UK PACT is and where it is coming, how the green tree, which Arshad has mentioned, is attacked. UK PACT is, as the name indicates, it's the agency whose base provides support to the international community on the climate change concern, and this is a program which is again funded by UK PACT as a part of the GRCF, which is Green Recovery Challenge Fund, which talks about the green electric mobility program. So this is the program which is gets handled by the ICF, which is International Climate Finance Portfolio. It's a part of the UK's commitment to ICF to tackle the climate change. I mentioned it's a 3-year program funded by the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. So what the program objective is, and as this program is, it's designed to provide the capacity building through technical assistance. So it's a capacity building and awareness program through the technical aspects, which enhances and sustains actions on the emission reduction. The capacity building projects must be designed to build a capability and capacity of the local people. That is the key for this thing, where we are going to work on to inform, to raise the ambition and implement accelerated action on the emission reduction. Generally, there's 2 different themes the UK PACT works on. One is the greening financial system. There are many activities which UK PACT is doing it. Second theme on which we are working it, or this particular program is a part of that, is electrifying urban mobility. So it is a complete program which Green Tree with the other partners, we are doing it. It's part of the electrifying urban mobility program. So this is what the urban give you the certain more detail that what this electrifying urban mobility program is. As the name says, this is a capacity building program. This is a program where the different variety of stakeholders gets identified, and training program and awareness program get designed for the targeted stakeholder. And the idea is, the scope is to enable faster uptake of the electrical vehicle in public transport. This is what we are supporting it at the state level, at the central level, which includes the different kind of e-mobility, which is 2-wheeler, 3-wheelers, even for the buses, with the public transport, taxis, how it is going to be. So this is a capacity building program. We are helping the redesigning the public transport network with the kind of expertise our partner firms has. So we are developing a sustainable and scalable business model. When we said we are developing, we are supporting in the business community in terms of connecting with the government, in terms of ensuring the adequate policy measure is in place at the state and city level and the municipal level. So that's where we do a lot of hand holding to the different kind of government stakeholder, including the public sector, including the bank, the funding agency, financial institutions agency. So that's the broader scope of the project which we are dealing with. And the title of the project, this project has been designed for the Kakinada City Corporation, which is in AP. So it's as I say, Kakinada Electrical Mobility Program proposed under the theme 2. That's the way this program stands for. Just to give you a very brief overview of who are the people behind this program, apart from UK PACT, who was the main funder. So this project is getting it implemented by 3 agencies: the Green Tree, on behalf of which I am a speaking, there is another organization called RTI International and the Urban Mass Transport Company. We all three are partner to this program and delivering a dedicated activities under this program. Green Tree has been in the field of energy efficiency and climate change since long, and they are working on energy policy, green building rating system, advisory role, skill development, and many program which has been implemented not only in India but in other countries also, which includes US, New Zealand, South Korea. Especially Green Tree is a consultancy firm who are working on the energy efficiency, energy conservation, RE, and ESCO related program. RTI, who is our another partner who works in this sector, works in the field of I would say the social and developmental issue, which includes the energy and climate change very actively, and their expertise includes in the sector like water, sanitation, women, children, health, gender equality, and they have worked on many states in India, apart from doing a lot of international assignment on the similar subject. Urban Mass Transit Company, which is UMTC, as the name says, they are one of the leading urban transport consultancy firm that focuses on developing sustainable urban mobility solution for the urban area. And they have been actively involved with the many state government in terms of supporting them to getting them ready for e-mobility program at the city and the municipal level. So broadly, we are the three partners who are implementing this UK PACT electric mobility program, which is based in Kakinada as a pilot city. So just to give you more detail about whom we are, under which this training and capacity program, we are taking a lead role in doing a training and capacity program for variety of stakeholders. And in addition to student and academia, we are doing it for the business houses, we are doing it for the autos and taxi drivers, we are doing it for the manufacturers and the vendors who are involved into the e-mobility program. So the kind of background the Green Tree Global has is, I mean, we have been doing it, supporting the international development program like EcoNirvan, which was supported by USAID, which is specially designed for the building sector. We have been working on the UNDP, the Energy Efficiency Action Plan for the state. One of the important vertical with Green Tree has a Green Tree Academy, and under the Green Tree Academy we are delivering all this training program, and which is dedicated or focused to take care of the training and capacity building program for a variety of stakeholders. So we have worked on many subjects like ECDC, the energy efficiency awareness program, the school energy efficiency program, the building sector energy efficiency, was supporting the energy auditors and manager training and capacity building program. So the dedicated arm is worked on many programs in India, which includes the similar kind of activity. As I mentioned, the GT Academy, which is dedicated arm of Green Tree, which works on the skill development initiatives, and the idea is it's how we can bridge the gap between the academia when they come to the practice, when they come to the real world of doing the work. So that's where we will try to bridge the gap. We will use as a connect where we'll make the student ready for the industries, we will take the students ready for the real world where the actual work is getting delivered. So we have been doing it with the different ways of training model. There is a direct one-to-one training, which is a one-to-one interaction based, and there is an online forum. There are many stereotype training designed, which is there on the GT Academy. One can log in and see that what kind of training program is coming up. So this is the background which I would say the Green Tree has in terms of the GT Academy, and delivering it on that. So now coming to the subject of today's topic, that how the e-mobility is connected with the climate change. Most of you might be aware of that, but this entire activity or anything which is related to climate change has a direct connect with the Paris Agreement, which has been ratified by more than 170 countries, and the objective was to how we are going to really hold the global temperature rise, which is the main concern across the world of the climate change of 2 degrees centigrade. And many studies have been carried out after the Paris Agreement, and we have found that the current pledges of 2 degree is not sufficient enough to really combat the climate change concern. The data and the examples, the kind of pattern which we are seeing it, whether it's a heat wave pattern, whether it's a sea rise, the sea level rise pattern, whether it's a cold temperature in a different climatic zone, we have seen it all are behaving in a different way. Even the right hand side, there is a graph which shows that the kind of sea level change from the 1995 to 2020 is like 3.4 millimeter per year, which is very alarming, as we know that most of our populated city are located by the sea, and when there is a this kind of rise in the sea level, I mean, everybody can understand where we are heading it. So it's very important. It's very critical for as affected parties to understand, as the government policy to really see this as a critical subject where different measures can be applied to combat the climate change mitigation activity. So how this is going to be done, how this is possible. There are many things which have been going on to combat the climate change. So broadly, we have tried to categorize in terms of how the deep decarbonization can be possible and the possible solution. And one is the improved energy efficiency. India has been working on energy efficiency issue for almost like more than 20 years now. There has been work is going on how to decarbonize electricity production, the way the electricity is produced, what is the efficiency of our coal-based power plant, what is the efficiency of the gas, how we can really be more move towards the RE-based energy production, how much practically it is feasible. So all these things it's very important when we talk about the deep decarbonization. Electrifying of energy consumption, wherever there is a energy source required, the electrification of that, moving it from the diesel and oil based localized pollution, which we are saying it, moving it from dependency on the oil import. So that's where electrification of the energy consumption, and this is the electric mobility is it's one of the activity which we are working on that. So these are these three solutions, which is the EV point of view we are talking about. So it doesn't require that the electrical vehicles better for environment. Everybody knows that why it is better for environment. Just wanted to highlight that many studies have been going on. There are many studies have been already published that lifetime emission of the electrical vehicle compared to any gasoline cars are 51% lower. That's a significant that when you talk about the 20 or 25 years or even 15 years of a lifetime, if we are having an emission factor which is 51% lower. In some of the studies shows that even that it's 25% lower life cycle impact than internal combustion based engine. This 25% where India has a lot of IC based uh, uh, transport, whether it's a four-wheeler, three-wheeler, or two-wheeler, and that's where straight away, if there is a 25% reduction in the IC vehicle, just imagine the kind of pollution reduction can take place at the city level, at the municipal level, which is the main concern. There has been many studies which have been carried out, whether it's talk about the small car, the medium-sized car, the large cars, the buses, and the data is it's all the data is leading towards that EV doesn't require any further justification from the environment point of view. So this is just the context on the background. And what about the policy landscape we are talking about, where the India stand in terms of the policy? India has started talking about the EV and its related policy almost like a decade back, 2003, when India has, and now 2013, India has announced their National Electric Mobility Mission Plan, which is NEMP, and all the government activity is somewhere based today on the NEMP program, which was announced by the government in 2013. And then within a period of 2 years, in 15, India has come out with their very focused and dedicated FAME 1 program, which is like faster adoption of hybrid and electrical vehicle. And this India has launched with almost like 1,000 crore of their budget, and that shows the government intent, which was there in 2015. Within 2 years, 2017, the government has announced its plan to transform India into a e-vehicle ecosystem by 2030. So it means that within a span of 12 to 13 years, the entire ecosystem, which is very important when we talk about the e-mobility, what kind of manufacturing facility and the changes has to go into, what kind of charging system is required, how electrical infrastructure need to be geared up to take care of additional load. So all this thing in 2017 that India has started talking about developing the ecosystem. And in 2019, after the announcement of FAME 1, 19, the FAME 2 was announced. And that's where the government has shown the much higher commitment by putting it 10,000 crore of the budget. And this was in 2019 for the period of 3 years, and that period is it's really ongoing right now, and there are a lot more activity which has been added. 2020 again, government has started working with the different industry bodies, and MSME, which is one of the leading one where most of the activity related to manufacturing is happening again, and almost like outlay of 18,000 crore was allocated for the MSME, where they are going to work, whether it's a battery, whether it's a manufacturing facility, whether the ecosystem, and that's where that shows the commitment of government of India in promoting, in ensuring that e-vehicle is going to be on road. And Niti Aayog, who is the planning body of government of India, they said it's 40% of the new sale vehicle of e-vehicle by 2030. In the next 10 years, they assume that almost like 40 to 50% of the vehicle is they estimate it's going to be on the e-vehicle. So that shows the government of India commitment. And this is the FAME India, which talks about the, I have already mentioned initially it was 1,000 crore sanction subsidies for e-buses, three-wheeler and two-wheeler. In FAME 2, which is the period of 2019 to 2020, the 10 crore has been allocated by the government, so just 10 times more, which shows the government's seriousness in promoting the e-vehicle. The FAME 2, the fund allocation, when you talk about that, if you see the red numbers, it's basically to accelerate that what the state level, the municipal level agency, and how the private sector are getting into to support this EV program by government of India. So there was a demand incentive, and now they're establishing for the network for charging stations. So they started supporting it. So 2020-21, there was 5,000 crore was allocated. 21-22, 3,500. So that's kind of outlay the government has shown, which I've already discussed. And how it is now, the recent announcement of the government, this has been extended for another 2 years, because and that one of the reason of extension of this thing was in the last 1.5 years, there's not much I would say progress was made, especially from the on-road perspective, because of the pandemic, which we all into, the entire world into. So government has extended the whole thing by another 2 years, where these incentives, it's getting it further extended for whether it's a 2-watt, 3-watt buses, and whether and the other ecosystem with where the charging infrastructure, whether all this developing is the buses with the public transport, which is very important from the e-mobility point of view. So this thing has been extended, which is going on. That shows, this is the snapshot of the FAME 2 performance. You can see it in the entire country is working on that. Many of the states has their own EV policy, own milestone, own coverage, and there is a dynamic website by the government under the FAME program, where you can get it data, which is very live. Every day gets data updated, and these kind of numbers comes, how many buses are sold, how many 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler, what is the CO2 production and reduction which has been achieved as of now, what is the fuel achieved. So this is a dashboard which under the FAME program which has been created. Anybody can log in and see that, and that how this electric mobility program is moving in India. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is a program which is focusing Kakinada as one of the target city, where we are helping the Kakinada Municipal Corporation, Kakinada Smart City Corporation. So I'll just give you some highlights on how the state of Andhra Pradesh are working on that. Central government has shown their interest in 2013 and 15. The first FAME policy announced. Government of Andhra was like proactive, and in 2016 itself they are coming out with their own policy and further strengthening the policy by 2018. So there are many policies related to EV, which almost like 14 notified EV policy which government has came out to support the e-mobility program in the government program at the city level and the municipal level. There are many activities which Andhra government is doing it in terms of strengthening the workforce, in strengthening academia. There are dedicated program for the academia which Andhra Pradesh government has involved, because we know that there is going to be huge opportunities for employment generation, career opportunity in this sector. And unless we really start syncing with the colleges and the student and the training institute, it's very difficult to serve the sector when it comes to fulfilling the requirement of skilled manpower. So under government is doing it, and they have a lot of policy announced on the capacitating, on the manufacturing, on the industrial development. There are many incentive and subsidy announced who want to be part of that. So this is just to show you the certain numbers. This presentation will be also available to all of you guys. There will be a reference material which will be given, so you will have a time to really read through on those things, and this reference material has been made based on this presentation, so this will be circulated to all of you. So just before I conclude, as I said, that it's very important for student and academia to know what is there for really into the e-mobility as a sector, how you can prepare yourself for the e-mobility, in choosing the career, choosing your future for the e-mobility. I mean, and where the sinking is. So if you see that, as I mentioned, the NITI Aayog certain projection to be on safer side, India is expected to have a 30 to 40% of the vehicle to be electric or hybrid by 2030. And if you go by the current number, almost like we have 23 crore of the vehicle, that means that about 10 crore of the vehicles is going to be the e-vehicle. It's a huge number which is going to be coming into the 8 to 9 years. Increasing vehicle population requires a huge ecosystem, the charging infrastructure, the kind of, I would say, the repair shop across the road, the many things which is required on that, equipment manufacturer and component company, the skilled manpower, which is very much part of the ecosystem. So according to the estimate of Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, the EV industry will create around 1 crore job by 2030. It's a huge number. These are the local jobs. These are local jobs across India, and based on the experience we have, based on the data which shows that every direct job, there will be likely 5 indirect job in the sector. That means almost we are talking about not only 1 crore, in the tune of 4 to 5 crore job related to the EV, which is going to be available in the market in the next 8 to 10 years. So that's the kind of I would say outlook the sector has, and where this job is going to be, and what kind of research and development, a lot of innovations which is going on. There is that will keep on happening for the, I would say, for the next 5 to 10 years, because the sector is evolving. There's a lot of technology which is coming, so there will be opportunity on R&D. There will be opportunity on on design and development, which is talking about the chemical, which is related to the battery, electrical, electronic, mechanical, industrial engineers. All these guys going to have a finding an opportunity in terms of supporting the EV industry in India and across the world. The EV manufacturing, where there are a lot of opportunity, is going to be the infrastructure development, where there's a charging station, where there's high power electrical wiring, with the RE generation based charging, with quality testing, the plastic molding. Everywhere there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Which is going to be there for the people to really get excited to choose career as a EV. So where broadly, if this is the slide, it shows you that whether it's the automotive engineer, the design side, the mechanical engineer, the feasibility, very important to know that manufacturing engineer, production chemical engineer, electrical engineer, whether you talk about the batteries, whether drivetrain, whether the power electronics, whether production material, impact on environment, everybody is going to be have a role on that. If something is missing like computer science and electronics, there is a role for everybody, which is going to be on that. So it's all depends upon how you're going to get yourself prepared for the EV when you choose electrical mobility as one of your career. And depending upon where you are right now, whether you are studying in the final year, third year, whether you have just passed out, you can really start syncing with the industry, start correlating with yourself with the industry, with the selection of elective courses. If you're studying project activity, which you are choosing it in the final year or the previous year, specialized courses on the EV. There has been a lot of short-term, medium-term courses which is available. Some of the academia, IITs, IIM are working on. They already have the courses on e-mobility. So the courses by universities, courses by training institute, courses by private sector, even as a Green Tree, we have a lot of paid training courses which is there, which is specialized courses. We have been doing it across the platform, which is online, offline. So there are many things which are happening here to develop this skill set, and I'm sure you will have a wisdom to choose which courses to pursue on that. So this is the kind of outlook I would say the EV gives you. So with this, I conclude my sessions, and if there are any questions which can be asked, I would be interested. And you can start sending the question on the chat box. You are there, and we'll ensure that we are addressing all this question. Thank you so much for listening it, and I'm sure you will have a lot of question in mind in terms of fine-tuning your career needs, and whatever the best possible way, we're always there to support you. Keep in touch with us, and as I mentioned that at the end of the training program, all the registered attendees will be able to receive a reference guide which has been developed based on the training module. So thank you so much. Thank you, Arshad. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep. That was quite an insightful session. Let us see if we have any questions. I guess we have a couple of questions. So the first question is asked by Mr. Ganesh. His question is that, is there any way to make his two-wheeler electric bike, or two-wheeler bike into electric vehicle? So so what do you think about it? Are there any companies, are there any firms which like they are started to make this conventional ICE vehicles to EVs, or is it a long way ahead?
See, if this is the question, I'm just reading into the chat box. Is there is a way to make my two-wheeler electrical vehicle? Is this is the question you are referring to?
Yes, the Ganesh.
So there are companies who started working on converting the existing two-wheeler into the e-vehicle, whether it's a two-wheeler or four-wheeler. There has been work going on, but I would say that the most cost-effective solution is that even the private sector is coming up with a more cost-effective model, and all is going to be depend upon the demand which a country is going to create it, and that's where it is going to be directly proportional to the capex which is required for the two-wheeler. As of now, the conversion of four-wheeler, the existing IC-based four-wheeler into electric wheeler, a lot of work has been going on. But on the two-wheeler, there are very little work going on because of the the current design of the IC engine based vehicle. But yes, there are certain company, as I mentioned, there are a lot of innovation going on. So there is a scope there. People are working on that.
Okay, so next question we will take is what are the challenges of automotive industries in transitioning to electrical mobility? So, I mean, this is something that you had spoken about in your policies, but yeah, some light on it, sir.
Yes, when we talk about the I would say it's the moment you treat it that as a challenges, I think there are opportunities, and that's where the industry is growing. So all this automotive industry, it's like started working on how they are going to cater the new demand of the country, and that's the beauty of any business, that you have to keep delivering it as per the demand. So I won't say it's seen as a challenge, but that's where the opportunity is, and because the demand nature is it's getting it changed. So there are and as I mentioned, these are the opportunity. When I say opportunity, means whatever the challenges is there in terms of uh, putting it additional money into the infrastructure, and that's where the government is pitching it into as per the policy measures and providing a lot of subsidies in
Mhm.
terms of getting the existing automobile infrastructure for the e-mobility. So I would say yes, and there are certain challenges which government is taking care of that, and this will
Wonderful.
happen in over a period of few years.
Wonderful. So that's really great news. So I guess we are gonna move ahead. Sorry for the interest. Due to the interest of time, we will take up all the questions and we will answer either at the end of today's session or we will like address you through the mail. So we have to move ahead, guys. So thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep. That was quite an insightful session. We really appreciate for your time, and we would really ask some questions if we have in the chat box. So thank you so much.
Thank you.